Hello everyone, this is just a quick basic guide for flying machines. Pretty much made it for dumbasses, so if you're like me and absolutely terrible with redstone, this is just for you. So first we have the piston. We know the pistons can exist in three different states: closed, open, and a state in between where it's like pushing it out. Now once we move over, we know observers. So observers, when they notice a change in the block in front of them, they will issue a signal. Now this change can be anything, such as if you push an observer, you notice that the observer is facing a air block. Now that air block will have a different XYZ coordinate to the air block next to it. So if you push an observer, you can see that it will give a pulse because it notices a change in the block in front of it, which is that air block there and there. Now moving on, we also know that a piston can push 12 blocks at maximum. So every flying machine is somewhat limited to being 12 part components, 12 block components. And we also know that how slime blocks, blocks that are next to slime blocks are attached to it. They get stuck. So this is great help that's the basics. Now that we're on the next step, you can see how the initial concept of a flying machine is how a piston pushes and pulls. So you know, the two states which a piston can be in is when it pushes something out or when it pulls it back. So if you notice, we can push and pull in one when they're back. Okay, so now that we know all the basics, we can move on to the basic concept of a flying machine. The flying machine is essentially a piston is pushed, moves, let's just say, these blocks forward. This piston will push these two blocks forward, while at the same time, this piston will pull these two blocks back, like that, and it moves forward one block. Now, the slime blocks are there to attach to the pistons so that it moves at the same time. There we go. Now, this can be automated by attaching observers, and the observers will notice a change in the block in front of them. So if I do a quick demonstration here, I could put a stone block here, and it would just absolutely take this thing off. So, oh, guess this way. Apart from that, let me quickly fix this up. There you go. So the observer notices a change in the air block in front of it, and triggers that piston, pushes this section forward. This observer notices a change in block in front of it and pulls this section back. Alright, now that we're done with that, let's move over to here. So that is the basic simple design. I'll just do a quick rebuild over here so you guys can see it. Where it's pretty much you have a slime block, a sticky piston, another piston, into a slime block, and you have the observer facing. This is a more compact version, but it doesn't really matter as long as the observers are powering the slime block which is next to the piston, because we know that in basic redstone, if you power a block, anything off that block will be powered. So in the case, the powered blocks are going to be the slime, and they're going to be powered by the observers noticing a change in blocks. See? So you might be wondering, wow, this is great and all, but what are some uses for this engine? Well, recently I had to clear a bunch of water from my build, and I used this engine in a just quick little water sweeper. So this is just slime and sticky pistons on both sides, with a piston each side to act as an engine. Now, once I set these off, actually I think this is one block. Yeah, that's one block too far. My bad. Like that. I can also attach to sticky pistons at the front, and and this goes into block updates and whatnot, where if a piston is, see how the redstone block is powering this slime block, yet this piston is not activated. That is because the piston needs to be reminded essentially that this block is powered. So to remind it, you place that block next to it, and it would go. Now, if this usually happens like this, so again, the piston needs to be reminded to push just like that. So over here, we can make a big kind of device that is limited to 12 blocks, because a piston can only put 12 blocks, so this is 7. Now, if you want, you can do the exact same side with a honey block, because we all know honey doesn't stick to slime, which is really great. Do it like this. Just like that. So when this goes, I'll put it like this. Oh, wrong direction. Like this. There you go. So it would sweep remove all the water sources here, which is great. Now let's move on to TNT Dupers. So here we have a basic design for a TNT Duper. So essentially what's happening is this TNT block is existing in 2 states when pushed, because one of it gets pushed by the powered rail and activates and falls, while the other gets stuck to the slime block. So a quick demonstration. Oh, so it fell because I put a block update. I destroyed that dirt block, thus giving it a block update. So this is a really quick one. I can quickly build it for you guys, so you guys can see where you have a TNT block stuck to a slime, along with a coral fan. This coral fan is necessary for the duper. And we need a wall for the minecart, or a fence, or cobblestone wall, fence, doesn't really matter. And we also need a minecart and a detector rail. There we go. So, in case you notice, you can't actually just put the detector rail directly onto the minecart, because otherwise it would fall over. So to do this, we put it on the block next to it with a minecart, like that. And we just, what? Oh, okay, so I powered this block and it set off the piston. That's pretty funny, but we do this. So you have to push it along with the piston, and then just go ahead and destroy that. So now this TNT block exists in 2 states. Now, to actually use a duper, you will need to push it with a piston to move the minecart like this. Now it's going to destroy all the floor, but whatever. Just like that. And it's going to destroy it. What? Oh, it's just my shitty computer. Anyway, so this is a flying machine with an integrated TNT duper into it. So we have our basic concept of an engine here with a sticky piston pushing a slime, and this slime block is connected up to here with an observer. So as this front part moves along one block, the observer gets updated and pulls this back part along with it, with this observer reading the changeable block, pushing this one forward again, so it works off into infinity. Now every single time this backwards contraption is moved, the TNT is pushed along the coral fan, the minecart activates it and falls. So it's probably a shitty place to do it here, but I'll see if it flies. Just like that. It's really easy to build. I could quickly do one for you over here. So we have a slime in an L shape, a sticky piston along with an observer, and we also have a piston facing this way, along with a observer. Now be very careful, because this would just fly off. Now let's get onto the TNT duper part. We have a TNT stuck here, I believe, and a fan block there, and this block there needs to be a slime there, so this can pull it along, and there needs to be a cobblestone wall or fence there. So let me just quickly get a fan block. And let me get a cobblestone wall. Too easy. Put that there. Put the fan there. Do one of these. This piston needs to push the rail across with the minecart on it. And yeah, I think that's good. Now this is ready to go. Just quick test. Yep. Great. So let me just do a quick run around so you guys can see all this. So yeah, if you have any questions, just chuck it in the comments. I probably will check them because I've got nothing better to do. So enjoy.